Hello everyone, and you're so welcome here at Icky Chic Designs. This is a collaboration video, and I'm collaborating with Heather at From My Blue Desk is the name of her YouTube channel, and I will put her YouTube link below. And we are both doing a project bag. Now, this is our first time to collaborate. I have no idea exactly what Heather's style is, except what I see on her YouTube channel. And but we decided that, we kind of like to do the same things. And so we thought this might be fun. And you would get a kick out of seeing two different styles of project bags. Now, just to give you a little teaser introduction here, I'm making mine out of burlap bags and scraps, and that's all that's going to be in here: burlap bags and scraps. And I'm going to try to construct me a very nice, pretty large project bag that would actually be very usable. And I'm not sure how this is going to go. I've never made one before like this, especially, and we'll just see how it goes. But be sure to stay through all the process, through all the video, and then you'll see the revealed finished bag at the end. And also you'll want to go over and visit Heather's channel, as she will be also posting her video today, and you'll be able to see her. She lives in the UK, but she was going to try to get her video up to sync with mine here in the US. So please jump over there when you finish here and see what she's created. All right, let's get on with it. Okay, I am so happy to be doing this collaborative project because I'll probably never do this on my own, but I'd sure like to have a project bag, so here we go. I wanted to start out with just giving you a little bit of my mindset, what I think I'm going to do, try anyway, and so we'll see how it works out. Now, I have these burlap gift bags that are about 11 by 13 or 14 inches, something like that. So they're a good size, and I thought, I have 3 of them here. If I could attach them to make one project bag, I would have 3 different good-sized areas to tuck things into. I'm thinking that's a good idea. We'll see. They are sewn already, and they have a drawstring thing up here, but I don't want to do this drawstring, so I will be doing something different with that somewhere down the line. Don't know what. But anyway, I will have to attach them on the sides, and so we'll just, I'm thinking just a plain old, get me a big old needle and do a whip stitch. Just overcast these sides and attach them with a strong thread so that they will hold the weight and stay together well. But that gives me the whole inside to tuck things into. I'm thinking that that's what I want to do. Okay, so that's what the whole bag looks like. Again, I've had these laying on my shelf forever. And you know me, I'm into using scraps and finishing unfinished projects and utilizing everything. And so I'm kind of excited. I hope this works out well. Now, what I thought I would do is decorate each outside. Okay. And so I created one panel that I'm going to put on one side. Just scrappy, nothing, just all scraps, and just collaging something on there. And I think I'm going to add some quotes of some type to it too. Don't know exactly how or what. I don't know exactly how I'm going to finish this off or attach it yet. But I think I'm going to finish it and tack it to the front. That way I could always, if I get tired of one, take it off and replace it with something else. And that's a cool idea, huh? We'll see. We'll see how that works. So that's my thinking process up to this point, and we'll see if that's feasible. Now, I'm also thinking that if I just do the sides, attach the sides, I would not have to do the bottoms. I could just let them be the way they are, and just keep these sides really secure and let those bottoms just be what they are. Okay, we'll see if that works too. I got one panel made. I have to make another panel, and then I have to be thinking about how I'm going to utilize these straps, and they're not going to be enough. I'm going to have to attach something else to it, so we'll see how that works out too. I'm thinking about only bringing this attachment up to and leaving about 3 inches at the top clear, simply so I have some give and play at that top if I'm working with it, and so that would like leave it open like that from, say, a certain point up. Okay, well, that's my thoughts, and we'll see how this goes. Now, I'm going to be making this video in, short clips and then putting them together. So if I'm jumping here and there, now that you realize that I'm trying to get the whole process in one video, little clips at a time. So please bear with me, and I hope you'll stay with me all the way to the end to see how this project turns out. So, all right, let's go for the next. Okay, we're working on this panel now and getting it attached to the burlap bag itself. And you see I started here with this heavier yarn, decorative yarn, and I'm just doing an overcast stitch around these edges. I did have to cut the fold at the bottom because I needed to get my hand inside from both sides. So that was a problem, but it's not too big a problem because I can always take this and sew it back up on the sewing machine. So that's not a big deal. And but right now I'm working with this yarn through this burlap and just overcasting this. Let me see if I can get my hand in there far enough. Overcasting this stitch. When you choose to work with something that's already constructed, like a bag like this, you can run into all kinds of little problems because you can't get to what you normally used to get to. And so there are times when you just gotta have your hand in there, and so you have to have an opening, and that's why I had to cut that. But if you see, I'm making big stitches, but and I'm leaving the edges of the panel raw, so they'll do some fraying as it's used, and it just look more and more loved all the time. Okay. I don't know what size this needle is that I'm using, but it's a nice size needle, and it's doing the job. I tried to pin this on fairly tight before I started to help me to keep from puckering any more than it's naturally going to pucker, because the burlap is loose weaved and it's wavy, and so you're not going to get a really tight fit on something like that. So if you can't stand a little pucker or ripple, you don't want to do it this way. But for me, it's all part of the charm. What I'm talking about here is you see how this is a little bit puckered here. Can't get it pulled as tight as you want it on something as loose as this burlap here. And also the fact that I'm hand doing this, not machine stitching it, so let's take that pin out and work that fabric up a little more. There we go. About a 1/4 inch between each of these stitches here. Nothing perfect, but you know my motto. I love perfectly imperfect items. I like something when I get through with it, especially things like this, to look like they've been used for years, that they're not brand new. And so that perfectly imperfect works to get that effect a lot of times. If something isn't just exactly right, leave it alone. If it's a little whoppy-doodle, leave it alone. If it's a little uneven, you know, whatever. Just, you know, and I don't worry about getting all my stitches just perfectly the same distance or the length or whatever like that. Over time, all that would warp up a little bit anyway, so I'm just making it look old before it begins. We're coming around to the corner now. Another thing with this burlap bat, if it develops any holes or anything in it, it'll look great if I just put a patch on it. So as I use it, and I do intend to use it, I can put patches on it if it breaks through or does something like that. It's a very cheap loose weave burlap and that they put in these gift bags, and you know, they're just designed for a one-time presentation basically. And but it'll look cute with little patches all over it actually. In fact, that gives me an idea of what I could do with the other side to decorate it. Maybe I could just decorate it with patches. That's a good idea, Linda. Just talked yourself right into that one. I think that's what I'll do. Now, I didn't use this around the very bottom because this is about 4 layers thick on the fabric here, and then the burlap, I don't think I could get my needle to come through there with this heavy yarn. So I'm going to go back and sew that with some embroidery floss, and I may have to or I might see if I can get it on my machine and do it with the machine. I just don't think it's going to open up enough for me to get it in there good. But we'll see. Meanwhile, we're just about to get around this. Okay. Wow. Let's see. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? I like that look. Yes, I do like that look. And I might try getting this on my machine. We'll just see. I like it, I like it, I like it. Okay. Let's see if we can get this tied off in the back. Come under that original knot and see if I can encourage it to stay in place. I had to make a big knot on the end of the thread in order to keep it from coming through the burlap holes. And we'll do a loop-de knot through the loop twice. Push it down. That should be a knot. Okay, so we have that on there. All right, let me take this to the machine and I'll see if I can get it machined. This part here machined so because it's so thick here. And we'll go from there. Well, we did finish the stitching around this, and then I went and I put a scrappy strip of fabric along the bottom and sewed that on the machine so that it closes up the bottom where I had to cut it. Okay, so that's one side of the project bag. This is just decorative. There's no practical use for this panel here. It's just decorative. Now I wanted to show you what I'm doing on the other side, which will be the other side. And I had to do the same thing on this bottom. I had to cut it, and so I put that back on there. Now this time I attached 2 pockets. This one's carrying a little tiny needle case that will hold you know, some floss in there, and but put some needles in there. That's for that. And then this one is for some additional floss wraps in here. And then this is just decorative, and I've got it stitched this way, this much around. I still have to stitch these 2, and putting that on there. Let me bring you up just a little bit so you can actually see what I'm doing here. Okay, the situation here now is that we got one coming undone here. Don't want thread hanging out here. I will finish this up, and then I will start deciding exactly how I'm going to attach the sides, and that will be the focus of our next video, is getting these sides attached. And then after that we will be focusing on how to put a handle on this and how I'm going to do that. I don't know yet. I'm going to have to give that one some thought. But and attaching these sides too, you know, I need a little play in the sides so that if you put something bulky in here, you know, it's got to have a little room to spread out. So anyway, we'll be playing with that in the next video, but this is the back side and the front side. So if they were back to back like this, that would be one side of the bag, and that would be the other side of the bag that you would see. Okay, one has some practical use with pockets, and one is just decorative. All right, let's go on to the next part. Okay, We are now down to the part where we're going to put these bags together. And as you can see, I've got this side done, and I have just tied the two outsides to the inside with rags, leaving some play in there so that when you put things in these bags and they get full, they have room to expand. So those are like expansion knots, you might call them. So, and the way I have to do this is I am taking these strips, folding down a piece and putting my little safety pin in here. And then I'm having to take an awl and punch me a hole through these two bags. I'm going through this bag and the center bag at this time, and it gives me a pathway to thread this tie through. Okay. I was struggling with it until I pulled the awl out, and that just made it so much easier. Okay. As you can see, I'm not tying it all the way. I'm leaving some play in here and then tying a knot. Okay. I cut all these little strings about the same length, so nothing exact here. Okay, we're going to go right here and do that again. Go through the top one and then through the second one and create us a hole to get this through. I just fold that fabric over so that it doesn't fray out on me when I'm threading it through there. I'm pulling, tugging on it. And I'm not using a great big safety pin because, you know, I don't want to make any bigger holes than I have to. Okay. And there are quite a few of these little knots between the three bags, so front side, back side. Okay, one to go. I love that already. I just love that raggy look. It's fun. Okay, now this one, I believe we're going to go just a little bit above where that one is to kind of even out here. Okay, let's get this one ready. All right. I'm telling you, that all made this job so much easier. Now that completes the ties that hold the sides together, okay? That's our ties that hold the sides together. All of those. So when the bag is up, all those sides, the bottoms are free, okay? So we stuff stuff in there. There's stuff for each, room for each bag to fill up, in other words. All right, I am going to get off camera and decide on what I'm going to do for a handle, because that's all we've got left is to put our handle on here. And so let me do that, and then I will be back. Okay, we're here with the handle, and what I'm doing here is I'm utilizing my scraps again. I made me some long strips. I made it long and continuous, and then in the middle I sewed this connector here that kept it all solid and would give me a hand grip or something to go over my shoulder. And then in the beginning I said I wasn't going to utilize these strings here, but I thought they're there, why not? So I just tied the ends of my fabric here, my tails, to that. And I believe that that is going to give me a nice hanging bag that I can drape over my shoulder when I am through. So I believe that I'm going to like that a lot. So I've already done that on that side. Let's go over here and gather up these 3. This one, this one, this one. Okay, now we got some straggly things here. I don't know what they go to, but I don't need them in my handle, so we are just going to get rid of them. Okay, now another thing about just go ahead and utilizing this is it's quick and easy for one thing. And also, when I get tired of it that way, I can just remake a different kind of handle. It's no big deal. Or if my scraps get, frayed or looking too bad, I can just change them out. All right, let's put them through here. And let's see, we've got about that much of a hangover. I think that's going to be about right. It's just one knot, so it can always be undone easily and adjusted. Now, I have found with these type of ties in the past that they work just fine. But should yours work loose, all you do is come in here and sew. Just sew across that and right there at the top, and that just keeps it from coming apart. So now we have a project bag and handle. Okay, beautiful. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to load this up. I'm going to make a video of what it looks like full. Okay, all right, see you in a little bit. Oh, I think I'm in love. It turned out really better than I thought. This was the decoration on the front burlap bag, if you remember. All right, I'm going to try to use the camera in such a way that I can show you the insides of each of these pouches. Now, in this first one, I don't have anything. It's empty. So, but there's plenty of room for putting stuff in there, okay? In the center one, I have my needle book and project book, big thick book that's in there, okay? And it goes perfectly in there. In the third pouch, I have my bug quilt that I'm sewing on. And it's just beautiful. I've got this crocheted piece in there. If I were crocheting and these pockets are very deep, I could plenty of room to put my crochet or knitting needles and all of that in there. Okay, the handle is just beautiful, and it definitely hangs very well on my shoulder. And if you want to see the back side, okay, let's turn it around. Set it up, and there's the back side, little stringy here with the decorations and the pockets down there. And so we have this beautiful project bag, and the sides turned out really good too. Look how they did work out to get plenty of play in between each of these bags. I can put a whole lot more stuff in this project bag than I've got right now because I still got tons of play and a whole bag that I haven't even put anything into yet. Beautiful, it worked out just perfect. I like it, and it's just too cool. And I love the handle. The handle is just wonderful. Just, I love it. Let me turn it around again. And it's just really pretty. Okay. Really, really, really pretty. Love it. Alrighty. I thank you so much for being with me on this. I'll get back to you in just a minute. Thank you so much for staying with me on this um, collaboration with Heather at from My Blue Desk here on YouTube. When Heather first approached me about a collaboration and she said she wanted to do a project bag, well, I swallowed real hard because I'd never done a project bag before. And I'm thinking, okay, but I'm always up for a challenge. And as long as I can do me and do me very well in the sense stay me, I'm up for just about anything that I can learn with. And I did learn several things on this. One thing is we can make projects easier sometimes if we start with something that's already finished. Like I started with these burlap gift bags, and they are, I forget again what size they are, but they're good size. They are about 12 inches by 14 inches. That's a big bag, and when put together like this, there's 3 of them. So you can load this thing up with, you go to retreat or a weekend with a friend, and you can take everything you need in this one project bag. It's got that much room. Now, I just bohoed it up because I love that style, that just boho, just eclectic, just raggy. I love it. All these fabrics have raw edges. These ties are just stringy. I love it. It's me inside and out, but it's very practical. I did use a lot of my scraps just to try to decorate a little bit. I did have to, on the front and back, cut the bottom of these bags so they get my hand inside so I could work, stitch on these things. So I had to sew that back up. I used very scrappy elements to do that with. Okay. All right. These, like I said, are loose because when you fill them up, they have to have that space to expand, and that's what these ties do. They act like expansions, and they work beautifully. They just work beautifully. I was so surprised. And this is so simple. I stripped, let's see, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 strips of fabric here. And I just stripped them the length that I wanted them. And then you saw in the last video where I just tied them through these drawstrings here. And I don't have a shot where it hangs over my shoulder, but it does perfectly. And it hangs right at the hip where you would want it to hang. And so I could carry it that way because loaded down, it's going to be quite weighty. But I started with bags that were already constructed, and that was my point. That immediately made this project easier. So sometimes when you want to do a major project, instead of shying away from it because it's too much, try to find a way to help yourself out. See if there's something already made that you can start with, and then you can put your tweak on it, and you can make it yours by doing that. Again, I want to thank Heather at From My Blue Desk here on YouTube. Please make sure you go over and view her video if you haven't already. She's a very talented lady, and she has other things going on with Etsy and with her Ko-Fi, and she's just she has both stitching and paper crafts on her channel. So just show her lots of loving kindness. Tell her Linda sent you over, okay? And that you really liked the collaboration she came up with. We're doing a project bag. Okay, now I have to go somewhere so I can use my bag. I don't have anything planned, but I'm going to be working on it. You can bet, okay? All right, you guys know the drill. We all need to stay in this trialsome world with all its problems. We can choose to stay very scrap happy.